You're Paul. I'm the new Sprintern.
Sprint plus...
Intern. Yeah, clever, right? Looking at getting an amazing iPhone 8?
Yeah, because...
Now you can lease one iPhone 8, get the other one on Sprint to give your second phone to your new friend.
And you get the best price for unlimited.
And now lease one iPhone 8 and get a second one on us. Visit your local Sprint store, sprint.com/iPhone, or call 1-800-SPRINT1 today.
iPhone 8 64 gigabyte $29.17 a month. Second iPhone 8 after $29.17 a month. Credit applied within 2 bills. Requires 2 new lines or 1 new and 1 upgrade with 18-month leases. Early termination results in full balance due. Excludes tax subject to credit and 30-day activation restrictions apply.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot. Oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, and I am here with my co-host, Patricia Kirkman, PK, who is surviving the Tucson heat wave with aplomb. She looks as gorgeous as always. She's here with us tonight. How you doing?
It's wonderful being back with you. I can't wait from Wednesday to Wednesday. There's always so many neat things to talk about.
I know it. And what everybody does not know quite yet is you're going to be making a journey out here. We're going to be together.
Yes. How about that?
The same room. Yeah. We'll bring the suit of armor down, in the dungeon. So yeah, it'll be exciting to have you here. But it's this has been a real trial. This heat wave you guys have been going through, wildfires, all kinds of horrible things. But you're doing well.
Yes, and the rains, like I said, we had rain 2 days ago, and I'm just delighted. My yard looks like a fire went through it. It looks so plucked and barren. But that little bit of rain, a lot of rain for one night, but it's starting to look green again. It just gives it that. It happens so quickly. It's just like, of course, our ground is it's full of caliche. So the water comes down, there's no place for it to go. That's why we had the floods.
Right. And that can be very dangerous for drivers.
Yes.
So, oh my. Well, I wanted to announce Creative Strength again. Remember Tom Palladino, who was on our show a while back? He is still offering to all of our audience members a free 15-day scalar treatment. Just go to creativestrength.us, and all you have to do is send him a picture, and you'll get a free treatment for 15 days. You can't beat it. He doesn't ask for your credit card or anything like that. No strings attached. And it's all free. 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 So give it a try.
Rarities that it truly is free.
That's right. So we have Tom to thank for his generosity. And then last week we had Chris Macklin, the healer.
Right.
And he brought in an offer for our audience. It was basically offering everything that he has to half price, right? For all of our people. And I posted it on Facebook so everybody can see it there. I'm going to repost it so it's a little more current with all the other news that's up there. So anyways, I'll put that up again, and you can feel free to participate with his offer, which is very generous. He was a wild man, wasn't he?
Oh, God, he's fabulous. What a joy to listen to him.
Oh, my God.
Everybody wants to fix us and heal us. For God's sakes, open your arms and embrace these people.
Yeah, embrace them is right. So I will repost that, and we have lots of things to talk about for paranormal news. But before we get there, I just want to mention we have a terrific guest coming up in a few minutes.
That we do.
Yes.
I walk around shaking my head.
I have a hard time pronouncing his name. He's got a beautiful name, Simon Chokoisky. I did it. Okay. I hope Simon forgives me for taking a few tries at that. But anyway, Simon is an expert. at Dharma and karma and luck. And we are going to find out all the secrets tonight. So he's got a new book out, Gambler's Dharma.
Right.
So we are going to have to really dig in here. And everybody who has a question to ask, you know what to do. Go to irnchat.com, irnchat.com. And you can ask your question there. We will ask it on your behalf. Simon will give his very best answer. And we got to change our luck, PK. We got to make it better and better and better for us, for everybody, right? For everybody who's listening tonight.
Well, we have one listener that did very well with luck, didn't we? On your paranormal news. A double header there.
Did.
You want to talk
That's
about
right.
him?
Yeah, well, let's go there for a minute. He won the lottery twice.
Yeah.
And this is with numbers he had played forever and not won before. And his wife used to make fun of him and all this. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, after years of playing these numbers and losing, he wins twice.
Yeah.
Now, what do you make of that?
$100,000 the first time, and his wife thought he was kidding when he said the next day he won again, another $100,000. Hey, I
love that guy.
Well, persistence. Look at the persistence. He knew what was going to be good. We all really need to follow what we feel. We don't do that often enough. We shortchange ourselves and we quit too early.
Well, I think you're right. And so we got to ask Simon about this. You know, why do some people win the lottery and other people don't? And, you know, there's got to be some logic or understanding or magic or something, method to this. And Simon has the answers. So we're going to bring him on.
There was magic in what he had to say about it on some of the articles that I took a look at with Simon, as well as the book.
Oh, yes.
Ay, ay, ay.
It's really very smart. We only have the smartest of the smart on this show. We know that.
Of course. How else are you going to learn?
Best. That's right. We learn at their feet.
If it's not the best, you can't handle it.
No, that's right. They're not welcome here. So.
And away we go with that one.
So you have been looking at numbers for us, for all of us. And what tell us, because you were telling me a little bit about this before the show, and it sounds so interesting.
Well, you know, firstly, tomorrow day has a luck factor to it, and that's for everybody, regardless of what our personal stuff is. But there's one thing that's called an age digit. It's what your birthday is today and what it's going to be after the birthday. You take those two birthdays' ages, add them together, and reduce it to a single number. So if you reduce it and the number becomes a 1, then you're always going to show interest in new ideas and new occupations. Now remember, this will change every year as your birthday changes also. So if this year it's a 1, you have new ideas. If it's a 2, tricky vibrations, limiting on inspiration, but usually indicates change in residence, business, or opportunities like that. If it's a 3, it's about social or artistic sides of things, and you could avoid emotional confusion because you want to go for the good stuff. If it's a 4, indicates routine, puts affairs in order. Take a look at it that way. More of it is domestic and business than anything else. If it's a 5, points to social, artistic change, good for selling and short trips. If it's a 6, changes in the home, all leading to divorce or separation. Advice, you got to pay more attention. Show a little bit more where the domestic side is. If it's a 7, marriage vibrations for a female, finances for a male. I guess they're both expensive, aren't they?
They are. Indeed.
A good time. It's an excellent time for studying anything in the occult or metaphysics. The 8 is the executive and the business side of things. And it's a good time to buy or sell property. Many delays will be experienced, but it has that good spin to it. And if it's a 9, this marks a close to one period with an impending beginning of something special that will be taking place very quickly. And it does say, watch your health, and loss is possible because 9 deals with endings. So regardless of where it falls in, we've got that. So that's just a little tidbit about what the birthday is now and what it's going to be after the birthday, adding the two
That is
together.
fascinating. Yes, so that's what you can do. And if you want a reading with Patricia Kirkman, you can go to her website, which is patriciakirkman.com, and you can set up a private appointment with Patricia there. You can go into great detail.
Oh,
It's
yes.
very, very helpful. Very helpful, especially as you make that transition, from one year to another. It's so helpful to hear what you have to say about what you've just been through and what's coming up. So very helpful to know those numbers.
Well, and you get a chance to look at the people that are around you. And besides that, you're very good at what you have to offer our guests as well.
Oh, the dream therapy. Yes, I'm coming up with
Yes.
some dates where we're going to get together for dream groups online. It is going to be a very, very special time. So we're going to be working on enhancing our psychic abilities with dreaming. So I will be posting more about that. And thanks for bringing that up, PK. I often forget. I get so many things flying in the air, so many balls to juggle.
Oh, I know. You feel like a juggler, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, not very good sometimes. But one other thing I just want to mention, too, before we go to other paranormal news, because there's a lot going on with that. I was watching this show, America's Got Talent. I'm sure some of our audience members have seen it. And it's a great show. It gives people a chance to show their talents that wouldn't normally ever have a chance. But I was watching last night, and I heard this young man sing. He was a doctor. And he sang, and he was fabulous, and Simon loved him, everybody loved him, and they put him through the next round. And then at the end of the show, they put up his name, his birth date, and another date. And I turned to my husband, I'm like, don't tell me this guy died. He did.
You're kidding.
He friggin' died. I am not kidding. Here's somebody who became a medical doctor. He was only 29 years old. He got into this contest, did extremely well, and he died. I couldn't believe it. Now, what's the luck factor there, huh?
Woo.
I mean, I know everybody's got their time and all of
That's
that,
for sure.
But my God, it just seemed like he was on top of the world 1 minute. And then,
But
boom.
if you have to leave, isn't it wonderful to be able to leave at the top of what you did and do?
In some ways, I would think yes, but in other ways, gosh, like all
But
of these things.
he didn't miss anything. He'd never know what he missed because he
But
had
he
the
won't
chance
know, yeah.
for the elation of what he had accomplished.
Yes, I guess you're right. Look at the positive of that. But it was like, my goodness, what a shock that was. So now that I've shocked everybody,
You're not finished yet. You've got another one to go.
I have more. No, there's
That's right.
been a lot of UFO sightings.
Yes.
People going on ghost hunts, getting scared to death, and these are experienced ghost hunters. And what else do we have? We have lots of stuff on our Facebook page. Just be sure to go there, everybody, because, again, the paranormal news lately, everybody's been reporting it. Now, there was a report in Missouri, which I haven't posted yet, but I will, of a black circle in the sky. Somebody took extremely clear video of it, and cars had pulled over by the side of the road, which was also shown in this video, and everybody's watching the same thing. And I have no explanation for what this is. I want to know what all of you think. I'll be posting that later tonight. Be sure to like our page so that you can follow us and see all of these very unusual things that are happening. Because they're happening, it seems to me, more and more and more. So it's harder to cover it up, isn't it?
That's the whole point. We can't get away with it anymore. It's all out in the open. It's not as fast as we'd like it to be, but we're seeing more and more on a daily basis. There's always something different, almost every day.
Yes, there is. On our Facebook page, Supernatural Girls, we have all kinds of stories just this week, brand new stories about giants and bones that have been found. Now, we had Mr. Crema on the show who talked all about this and said it's true. The Smithsonian did have these skeletons and they destroyed them. And now we're finding out these skeletons have been found all over the place. Yeah. They've been found in New England, in Connecticut, in Massachusetts. And so all of that, again, it's on our Facebook page. So not only have we been lied to about UFOs and portals and interdimensions and all that, we know the truth about that, right?
Oh,
but we've
gosh,
also been lied to about our history, for God's sake. So
Well, and take a look at how many years old these giants are.
Yes.
Compared to what we would have thought it was something within the last 100 years, 100,000 years. When you take a look at what they're saying,
yeah,
what a surprise.
I know.
Nothing new under the sun. Everything is starting to be shown to us now.
You got to get your news from Facebook if you want to know what's going on.
Isn't that the truth? And it's not fake news.
I know. Now, I did post a story also there about supposedly a Bigfoot body that was found on the beach of a lake, but it just wasn't adding up to me. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me. They were saying that whoever this was died of a fractured leg from some type of infection, and then there was some covering over the body. They said it was secreted away by the military. Now, that's the only part I would believe, that the military rushed in and took it. That I believe. But I'm just not sure. The Bigfoot, it just doesn't make sense that one of them would pass away in that manner. So I don't know why these people try to fake things. If this is a fake, stop doing it, guys. We don't need fakes.
There's enough real stuff out there. There's enough real stuff. Let's deal with that.
Let's deal with that. Dogman sightings and other sightings that are coming to the forefront where credible witnesses are not afraid to stand up. So this is terrific, right? Mm-hmm. Terrific to hear these things are happening. Now, is there anything else? Did I miss any of our wonderful stories?
I can't think of. We had the, where was it, in Ireland?
Yeah, that was the ghost hunter that got spooked.
Yeah, that was the one that got. I was thinking,
if you can't handle the heat, get out of the fire.
That's right. Or run like the devil, because the devil's right behind you.
I think he did.
And for his next
Poor
trick.
Guy. Making fun of him. Yeah, exactly. Well, let's get on with our show with our wonderful guest tonight, because we have a lot of questions. We want to know, how can we improve our lives, dig deeper into our own selves, find out more about who we are, and how to make things better for ourselves and our people around us that we love and care about. And we have Simon Chokoisky. He is the author of a new book, Gambler's Dharma, Sports Betting with Vedic Astrology. It's a beautiful book. It's right here.
Yes, it is. And we both happen to have it.
We both have it.
It's that good.
Read it. But we still have questions, saying we can't wait to talk to Simon. Let's get him on the show. Simon, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hey, it's great to have you. You are the man of the hour. We have all kinds of questions for you, and we know our audience does too. So, first of all, how did you get into this? All knowledge of Dharma, yoga, meditation. You're a man of many talents.
Well, it's not very romantic. It's basically trying to find my purpose in life for the last 20, 30 years. And you get good at something when you fail over and over and finally find a way to do it right. So, but I've always been interested in astrology. Even as a little kid, I remember taking the bus across town, all by myself to go see my first astrologer. And I've just always been curious, but I never thought I'd be doing it for the public. But here I am, and the more I learned, the more people came up to me and said, "Hey, tell me about my life. Tell me what I can do to improve myself." Mm-hmm. And so it just kind of rose out of that. Never dreamed I'd be doing this.
Wow. Well, it's great. And, PK and I were both discussing Vedic astrology, and we both share the same sentiment that it is extremely accurate, very helpful. I know it's a whole different system than what we're used to in the United States, but we love Vedic astrology. So we're so thrilled to have you on to talk about that as well. It's a very powerful astrology.
I think most people don't understand how much of a difference there is between Western and Vedic. And, how much more detailed you are with the Vedic.
Yes.
Well, and another feature of the Vedic astrology is that it's 50% what you would normally consider astrology, and the other 50% is prescribing remedial measures. So, okay, your Saturn is here, and it's causing you, or it's indicating certain problems. Now, what do we do about it? So in Vedic astrology, you'll see people doing certain rituals, prayers, called mantras, and certain pilgrimages, all to sort of balance out the karma in a given situation. So, for example, if someone has, quote unquote, undesirable karma in the area of relationships, let's say it's hard for them to find their ideal partner, then a Vedic astrologer may recommend that they do something for the planet Venus that creates a sort of, it's kind of like neuro-linguistic programming, where you do an action, an activity with a certain intention, and you connect that to the outcome that you want to create. And it's like 5,000-year-old NLP, basically.
Wow.
And so Vedic astrology is imbued with that tradition of what can I do to make my life better? And so people think it's sometimes fatalistic. I say it's the opposite. It's actually very self-affirming.
Well, it sounds that way, and it's helpful to be specific. One of the beefs I've had with astrologers that I've talked to in the past with Western astrology is it's so, I don't know, so nebulous. You know, at the end of the reading, I feel like I've got Mercury in my hands, whereas with Vedic astrology, I feel like I've walked away with something I can implement. So I like that about Vedic astrology.
Well,
I like that map.
Let me defend Western astrology a little bit as well, because to me, it all depends on the person, on the operator who is using the machinery. So Western and Vedic are different technologies, right? They have their different operating systems, let's say. But it's really up to the user. So if you have a really tuned in on the, on a cracking Western astrologer, they can tell you everything you want to know, and vice versa with the Vedic. But if you have a terrible Vedic, hey, I have my bad days, and sometimes I'll look at a chart and go, I can't see anything. But sometimes I have my good days, and I can tell them what color, what color carrots they had for lunch, and maybe they were purple carrots. So, it all depends on the operator, on the user.
Well, that's really true. I mean, it's true. There's good mediums and not so great mediums, and yes, I would agree that's true in every aspect here. But here's a question for you, Simon, from our chat room. This is from Starlight, one of our loyal listeners, and Starlight says, I would like to practice Vedic astrology. What is the best way to get started?
The best way is to find a teacher and a one-on-one teacher whom you trust, whom you have tested, and you know that they're good, and with whom you have some connection, and then to stick with them. Now, to get to that point, you may have to go through several teachers. But Vedic astrology is very much a one-on-one kind of tradition. Now, in the modern world, sometimes we don't have access to one-on-one teachers, so find a good author that you really connect to, and often you'll find that they also have a YouTube channel or online classes that they do, and plug into that author's tradition. Because one mistake that people make is that they'll watch a bunch of YouTube videos, they'll read a bunch of books, and start mixing all of those techniques, and what you get is a headache, basically.
Makes good sense.
Right? You get a lot of that mercury, because sometimes it's like doctors in medicine. One doctor says, no, you should never drink coffee, and the other says, no, coffee can be good for you because it has antioxidants. It all depends on your ability to digest coffee. So it depends on your ability to digest that teacher's teaching. So my recommendation, A, find a teacher that you feel connected to and stick with them for at least a year or two.
Good advice.
And don't go anywhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So in your new book, Gambler's Dharma, you're talking about a system that actually works for gambling. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I, again, never dreamed that I would be doing that, but I was sitting on my couch one day watching the World Cup, actually the first match of the World Cup, and it was between the favorite team, the Spanish, who had won the last World Cup. Everyone expected them to win, and Holland, who was an underdog. And what ended up happening is, in the second half, Holland beat them 5-1. It was this incredible game. And I sort of scratched my head and said, gosh, the chart for that game must look pretty amazing. And so something inside me said, you should pull the chart, take a look. So I did. And what I noticed a few interesting things, and I thought, that's probably why they won. Then I pulled the chart for the game, for the tomorrow's game, the next day's game. And I saw this exact same things. So I thought, okay, I'm a practical guy. If astrology works, then this exact same chart, the only thing they had moved was the moon, but everything else is exactly the same. That chart should produce the same result. So to test my theory, I put $50 on that game. And I didn't tell a soul because, this is not something you're supposed to do. And I swore I'd give the proceeds to charity and crossed myself 7 times and all that stuff. So
At least 7.
At least 7. It was probably more than 7. And the next day, it was an even bigger underdog. It was Costa Rica, whom nobody expected to do anything. And they were playing a powerhouse favorite team from South America, Uruguay. And in the first half, Uruguay scores on a penalty 1-0. Well, that's the exact same thing that happened in the first half of the other game where Spain scored and led 1-0. And I thought, oh, great, there goes my $50. But in the second half, the Costa Ricans came back and destroyed. They completely routed the Uruguay team. The exact same kind of result happened with the exact same chart. And I thought, eureka, astrology works. Now, mind you,
Amazing.
I had been doing astrology for about 20 years, but it took, this to sort of prove it to me in a sense. And so then I started getting deeper and deeper into finding which techniques actually work. And I wrote a book about it.
Well, it's a great book. And
I was going to say, it's a beautiful book.
It is, and it's something that you can use as a reference. Anybody who is fascinated with this, as we are, and because there is so much to this, and it does seem like there's got to be a method to follow. So you found it. You've actually discovered it.
Well, I discovered a few techniques, and the truth is, the universe leaves clues for us, and if we only have the eyes to see the clues, we can sort of follow them to their logical conclusion. So, for example, if Saturn is on the eastern horizon, which means Saturn is rising. So if you see Saturn on the eastern horizon at the moment a game begins, then the favorite team, the one that everyone thinks is going to win, is not going to win.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Wow. See that?
Whereas the opposite is also true. If the planets, because Saturn rules constriction, it rules slow movement, it rules fatigue, Saturn's an old planet. So the people, even though they may be 20 years old, the athletes, they're going to feel older and slower when they play. But the opposite is true when Jupiter is rising. So Jupiter on the eastern horizon, at the moment a game begins, augurs victory. It augurs strength, optimism, and a desirable result.
And that would be for the team that you expect is going to win then. Yes?
Exactly.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Your listeners may be going, all right, great, good for you. How can I use this in my own life?
That's what everybody wants to know. So you're going to have to hold on to that thought because we're going to have to take a very short commercial break. And we will come back, and we all want to hear the answer, of course. So we're going to start right there as soon as we get back. You are listening to Supernatural Girls Radio, everybody. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Listening to IRN, the Inception Radio Network, Chicago, Illinois. forget what's coming up tonight, did you? Hi, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Never miss that interview you were looking forward to or the show on your favorite topic. Follow IRN on Twitter, I_R_N, and get reminders about the evening's live shows as well as fun and important updates throughout the week. That's I_R_N, and never miss a great show again.
Do you want more out of life? CreativeStrength.us can help you turn your dreams into a reality. Do you suffer from common health issues or stress? Are you sick of living day after day in pain and anxiety? Have you tried traditional methods but see no results? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then the 15-day Scalar Energy Healing free trial is perfect for you. When you sign up for the Scalar Energy free trial, you'll get 3 free treatments: a pathogenic cleanse, nutrient therapy, and chakra balance for every day of the 15-day trial. Go to creativestrength.us to learn more about this free trial and sign up. There is no credit card required, only your willingness to improve your life. Anyone, anywhere in the world can register for this free trial of Scalar Energy treatments. Healing energy is all around us, and now CreativeStrength.us has a way to help you harness it to improve your daily life. Only a picture of yourself is needed to be treated with Scalar Energy. Simply email your photo and enjoy the Scalar Energy treatments. You can experience the miraculous, life-changing powers of Scalar Energy Healing from the comfort of your own home. Visit CreativeStrength.us. Change your life for the better, effortlessly. Go to CreativeStrength.us today.
Hi, can you hear my voice? Imagine how many other people can hear it too. If you have advertising needs, then look no further. The Inception Radio Network currently has openings for on-air advertisements and radio show sponsorships. Given any thought to your target demographic? Inception has you covered there too. Advertising on a network gives you multiple opportunities to advertise on a wide variety of radio show broadcasts, and we have one to fit every advertising need. You know, in recent years, internet radio has exhibited a phenomenal listener growth. An Arbitron Edison survey shows that online radio boosts at least 33 million unique visitors each week and 54 million each month. And that number amazingly continues to grow. And these listeners are a part of many businesses' core demographic.
You're Paul. I'm the new Sprintern.
Sprint plus...
Intern. Yeah, clever, right? Looking at getting an amazing iPhone 8?
Yeah, because...
Now you can lease one iPhone 8, get the other one on Sprint to give your second phone to your new friend.
And you get the best price for unlimited.
And now lease one iPhone 8 and get a second one on us. Visit your local Sprint store, sprint.com/iPhone, or call 1-800-SPRINT1 today.
iPhone 8, 64 gigabyte, $29.17 a month. Second iPhone 8 after $29.17 a month. Credit applied within 2 bills. Requires 2 new lines or 1 new and 1 upgrade with 18-month leases. Early termination results in full balance due. Excludes tax subject to credit and third activation restrictions apply.
And surveys have shown that internet radio listeners are far more likely than regular radio listeners to spend money on a whole range of activities. You know, internet listeners vote, they dine out, eat fast food, and they grab a cup of coffee. And here's the interesting one. They buy items online at a much higher rate than all other market segments combined. Internet radio also enables businesses to connect with consumers during work hours, where increasingly more lifestyle decisions are being made. Advertise with the best. The Inception Radio Network offers competitive advertising rates to fit just about anyone's advertising budget. Stop by today at www.inceptionradionetwork.com or call us toll-free at 1-888-919-2355. Get the word out. Get results with the Inception Radio Network.
Are you a fan of Inception Radio Network? Do you reckon it's the best alternative talk radio station on the planet? Well, if you do, head to facebook.com/Inception Radio Network and like the page. Tell your friends, spread the word, and keep listening to the best.
Hello, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Remember, you can take your Inception radio shows on the go. Just download the Inception Radio Network app for your iPhone, iPad, or Android smartphones and access live shows, past shows, guest lineups, and much more. Just visit the iTunes Store or the Google Play Marketplace and download it today for free.
Your property tax bill Have you seen it lately? It's frightening. Your property taxes are going up while your home value is going down. It's time to fight back and win. For the real truth about the property tax system, get attorney Pat Quintilian's book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Attorney Quintilian answers all your questions and gives you the facts you need to fight a property tax bill that is spiraling out of control. You'll also read about what happens to property owners who don't check their property records, only to find out too late they're taxed on square footage, fixtures, and even buildings that they don't own. Is this happening to you? Learn your rights. Buy attorney Pat Quintilian's book today. Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Available on Amazon.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker. I'm here with my co-host, PK, and our guest tonight, Simon, who is the author of a great book. It's called Gambler's Dharma. And we have to get the rest of this story.
That's right.
From you that we left off right before the break. So
Simon
we're
says.
sitting on the edge of our seats here, Simon.
Oh, I forgot what we were talking about. What were we talking about?
That's 10 days.
I was going to go something new. Yes, Jupiter and Saturn on the ascendant. So the word ascendant is a technical term from astrology. All it means is the eastern horizon for wherever you are. So if you're in Tucson, it's the eastern horizon for that place and time. If you're in New York, same thing. So what I found was when Saturn was rising on the eastern horizon, right on that horizon, on the exact time that it was there, if a match, an event happened, that event would turn negative for the favorite team. And if Jupiter was in the same spot, it would turn positive for that team. By the way, it's the opposite on the western horizon. So the moment that Saturn is setting, it's bad for the underdog team. And the moment Jupiter is setting, it's good for the underdog team. But you don't even need to go there, because the next question I had was, well, if this applies to the space-time events of, say, a football game or a baseball game, why wouldn't it apply to human lives? And so these techniques that I talk about in Gambler's Dharma can be used in everyday life. So, for example, a friend of mine was leaving town, and something sort of gave me the intuition to look at the chart the moment. She had started the car, and I said, wait, let me just pull the chart to see what's happening. And at that moment, Saturn was exactly on the horizon, on the eastern horizon. And I told her, I said, listen, if this were a game, you would lose. So just wait a little bit. Wait half an hour if you can. And she said, I can't wait half an hour. The car is running. I said, okay, fine. At least wait 5-10 minutes so the worst, so it at least separates from the horizon a little bit. So she did. 2 hours later, I get a call. She's caught in a hailstorm, and visibility is almost nil. She's on the highway, and she hits a rock.
Oh, my.
But it could have been very bad, because that rock could have ripped up her, the oil pan and the stuff under the engine. But what happened is the rock disintegrated. So she pulled over on the side of the road, checked the car was okay. And to me, that was a type of confirmation, because she did wait long enough for Saturn to separate so that it wasn't exactly on the horizon, but it still had the effect. And Saturn rules obstacles, rocks, obfuscation, stuff like that.
Wow.
And I've seen
she really
like
should have
this
listened
over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah, she should have listened.
Yes. So
So
when you do a chart like this, you can also apply this to business as well. Starting a business.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. So you wouldn't want to start a business when Saturn is exactly on the ascendant, unless for some reason Saturn is a good planet for you. And, the thing about astrology is that it's extremely customized. Everyone has a birth chart based on the time and place they were born. And so if you ask me, say, for lucky numbers, I would be hard-pressed to give them to you unless I knew your chart precisely. So everyone has different lucky numbers. Everyone has different lucky syllables.
Right.
And everyone has a slightly different relationship to the planets. But generally speaking, if you are getting married, say, and let's be honest, I mean, everyone wants to win the lottery, but isn't the real lottery having a good relationship? I mean, you can have $100 million, but if no one loves you and you can't find love in your life, or you don't have good health, what's the point?
That's right.
I mean, all that money is going to be spent on doctors. It's going to be spent on Match.com. It's going to be spent on these sort of desperate ways to find happiness. So in my mind, it would be very cool to win the lottery, but the real lottery is, do I have health? Do I have a spiritual connection? Do I have friends? And do I have a partner who's there for me? And this is how the ancients thought as well. So they devised simple, practical things anyone can do, and I'll be happy to share them with you, to ensure that when you do get married, for example, or when you do start a business, that it will go well. And in effect, you win the lottery in that part of your life. Well begun is half done. So
yeah, go ahead. What are
sorry.
one of these things? We want to know.
So, one of the things is, if you want to begin something auspicious, like a business or a marriage, try to do it, or try to not do it on an eclipse. Okay. Now this is
no
and you would think, duh. I mean, kind of makes sense. The eclipse is kind of an ominous thing where it's daytime and all of a sudden it's nighttime and then it's daytime again. Who would want to start a business? Well, Facebook, their IPO actually launched a couple of days before a major solar eclipse.
Really?
And every astrologer on the planet kind of hit their hand to their forehead and went, "Oh, Zuckerberg, can you afford a decent astrologer for $100 to tell him, hey, this is a bad day?" And apparently not.
Arrogance of it all.
So what happened with Facebook is, if you're familiar with it, it was called the worst flop in history because it immediately tanked. And the problem with that is that a lot of teachers, a lot of people who had invested, lost that money, at least if they sold. So what happened, it tanked. It stayed below its opening price for a whole year. But then it went up, and now it's trading very nicely, well above the price that it opened at. So that goes to show you that the moment you begin something has a definite effect. But if your relationship is fundamentally sound, if your business is fundamentally sound, like Facebook's was, then it'll eventually overcome those obstacles, despite the bad timing. But why should you have to go through the bad timing if, you can afford to take a look at an almanac and go, oh, there's an eclipse happening? So my contention is that if Facebook had opened a week later or a week sooner, it could have started going up from the beginning without that, drastic year-long drought.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is there anything that that would be advantageous for a person to look for when they're starting something?
Yeah, so there are 5 things you can look at, and the thing is also, it depends on what that thing that you're starting is. So, for example, if what you're starting is a marriage, you want to take care of, well, let's see. So for a marriage, the first thing is to do it, well, the first thing is don't get married on an eclipse. Okay, right. That's one lesson. But there's only 4 of those a year, so you stand a pretty good chance of being, being good on that one. The second thing is don't get married when the moon is very dark. When it's within 5 days on either side of the new moon. Because the moon rules the emotions, it rules the hormones in the body, it rules affection and feeling. And when the moon is new, there's a sense of depletion to those things. And you don't want to begin something that is rooted in emotion and love when the moon is depleted. So within 5 days of the new moon, on either side, waxing and waning, then avoid those days if possible. Okay, that's one. The second thing is, and this may sound a little crazy, but don't get married on malefic weekdays like Saturday or Tuesday.
Why is that, Simon?
Well, Saturn's day is ruled by Saturn. And as we mentioned earlier, Saturn rules old age, obstacles. He's cold, he's distant, he's slow. All the things that you don't associate with a newlywed couple. So unfortunately, because Saturday is the weekend, a lot of couples do get married on Saturday.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's right. They do.
And that may be a contributing factor, according to astrology, for the high rate of divorce in this country.
Wow.
That makes good sense.
So no more weddings on Saturdays. Should be banned.
So the good days for a wedding next time around. So next one's not going to be on a Saturday.
Right.
But again, keep in mind,
a few of us.
these are just factors that can factor in. But again, if your marriage is solid and so on, it can overcome these obstacles.
Sure, but it's nice to know these. It's helpful hints. I mean, everything I think helps. In today's world especially, I see so many people throwing in the towel with their relationships before they even really get started. So it's nice to have these things that will build support for the relationship right at the beginning.
And hedge your bet before you get started.
Yeah.
Why not?
So the good days, the way to hedge your bet is to wed on a Thursday or a Friday. Because Friday is Freya's day, and Freya is the Nordic equivalent of Venus, the goddess of love.
Oh, perfect. See? That works out. Yeah.
And Thursday is the Nordic equivalent of, it's Thor's day, but it's jeudi, Jovedi, in the Latin languages, it's the day of Jove. And Jove is the benevolent sort of, it's Jupiter's day. So Jupiter, Thursday or Friday are good days to get married. Actively avoid Saturday and Tuesday. Tuesday is the god of war.
I must have hit that once.
Has anybody ever done a study and pulled marriage certificates up and seen how many people got divorced if they got married on a Tuesday or Saturday?
I remember reading something like that a long time ago, because these are well-known rules. I didn't make this stuff up. And I remember that they did cite certain statistics about, it was just for Saturday, I think, Saturday marriages, that a certain amount of them ended in divorce. But I would be hard-pressed to find that article for you.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be a fun study to do, yeah.
Sure, and then actually a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a part of your next book.
Well, there are enough books written about this stuff. Like I said, this isn't my info. So don't get married or start a business when the moon is dark. Rule number one. Don't get married on a Saturday or Friday or Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing is specifically for marriage. There is in the Vedic tradition, there's a part of the year that's devoted to mourning the dead. And like we know that as All Hallows Eve, the Day of the Dead, and it's usually sometime in the fall, like October 31st or in October. In India, it's actually a 2-week period where basically 1 billion people or so are mourning and honoring their ancestors. And if you can imagine, like, getting married in a church, and here's the guy saying your vows, and right next door someone's doing a funeral, that would be kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
And so this idea of not marrying during this 2-week period, which is reserved for honoring the dead, is another factor to consider. Now, in 2017, that 2-week period is September 5th through the 19th. So,
okay, buddy, mark your calendars. If you're planning on getting married, then don't.
Not now. That's right.
That's right.
Again, it's just one factor, but if you can avoid it, why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Now, here's a question for you from Trisha. She wants to know, when is the best time to try to conceive for those who are struggling?
That's a good question. So the best time to conceive is when the sun and the moon form the same angle in the sky as they did at the moment you were born. Here's what I mean. If the sun and the moon were, say, 100 degrees apart when you were born, then every month when they recreate that degree, that angle, on that day, and actually the day or two before, you want to schedule a lovemaking session so that you can conceive. And this one does have a fair amount of studies behind it, this technique. But to know the days when that happens, you need to probably consult an astrologer. Like, I have a fancy program that spits out the info for me, just by punching a few keys in it.
Well, Simon, how can people get a hold of you for this, anything? What's the website they should go to find you?
Spirittype.com is my site. Spirit Type, it's all one word.
Spirit, SPIRITTYPE.com.
That's it.
So, Tricia, you might want to have a private consultation with Simon about this, because it sounds like with a few clicks on his computer, he'd be able to give you some really, really good information. So that's very helpful, because there are a number of people I know out there that are struggling with that right now. So, again, the possibilities are endless when it comes to Vedic astrology and this and getting what you want in life, I guess, for lack of better terms. What about the lottery? A lot of people want to win it. Some people, like we talked about at the beginning, this guy plays his numbers for years, nothing happens, and all of a sudden, bam, he gets it twice. What's happening? I mean, is some angle happening in the sky that only he got to benefit from? What's going on?
Yeah, this is something. The lesson in that from what I heard, as you guys announced it at the beginning, is that when you do something, when you do your Dharma, everything comes to you. So what I mean is, a lot of people spend their time looking for love, looking for money, looking for spirituality, and we're researching, finding out. But the truth is, in the Vedic tradition, it says, find your path, find your road, and stick to it and walk it. And what will happen, you'll find God waiting for you, love waiting for you, and wealth waiting for you when it's your time to experience them. So basically that gives up that sort of desperation of, when am I going to have X, when am I going to have Y, when am I going to have Z? Find your path, walk it, live it, and in a sense, faithfully stick to it, but then forget about the details. So from the way you announced this guy's winnings, it sounded like he'd been doing this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And despite the fact that people ridiculed him, even his own wife, he stuck with it because he believed it. He had a deep sense about, no, this is something I have to do. And when you have that, you can't help but succeed. It's just a question of when.
Now,
you know, the guru of the Hare Krishnas, his name is Prabhupada. When he came to the U.S., he was 72 years old. He landed in New York. He didn't have $1 in his pocket. And a guy on the street asked him, he said, "Hey, man, who are you?" And Prabhupada, he said, "I am a world-famous guru of a world-famous movement for Krishna consciousness, and I have temples all over the world." And the guy said, "Where are your temples? You don't look, well, I don't know you." He said, "The only thing that separates me from that is time." Meaning, it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But he was absolutely sure. He knew it would happen because that was his purpose. That was his Dharma. His guru had sent him.
Now, you
So
talk
that's
about
the lesson.
Dharma, and you also have a book out about Dharma, right?
Yes, the 5 Dharma types. That's the original book.
And you also have a test that people can take right on your website to find out what their Dharma type is, which is very helpful.
Right, definitely.
Now, is one Dharma type more than the other considered luckier?
Yeah, my Dharma type is the best. I don't know about you guys, but mine...
Figures. Way to go.
Of course. How did we know this?
Then again, I'm a Scorpio in Western astrology, so we tend to think this way. We're terrible people, actually. We Scorpios. No,
Well, the Scorpio moon, does that count?
that counts, yes. It tends to give a little twist, dark twist to the personality. So each... is one Dharma type luckier than another? That's a good question. It depends on what you mean by luck. If you mean, does one type attract money more readily than others? I would say yes, the merchant Dharma type. Tends to be, because a merchant can walk along the beach and look at a coconut and go, "Hey, that kind of looks like Elvis." And they'll put it on eBay and sell it for $150. Whereas 10 people that walked past that coconut before didn't have that awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Merchants just have an appreciation for value. They know what's valuable in the world, and so they attract it. But every type is lucky in a sense. Educators attract knowledge and wisdom. Warriors attract strength and power. Laborers attract community and love. And merchants attract money, and outsiders attract mystery, excitement, and the sort of the unexplained.
Well,
so every type has a knack.
Each has its own unique ability to attract something of worth and value. So that's good to know. So there's no Dharma that's like condemned to a life of poverty or anything like that.
Well,
really?
no, the idea...
I can contest that one.
The thing about that is also, I've been to India a lot of times, and I've been invited into people's homes, and they literally lived on a dirt floor and had very little possessions, but they were just happy and smiling and genuine and healthy and running around and working 12 hours a day, but still, and in a sense, they had nothing, and yet they had everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of doing your Dharma, what you're sort of put on this planet to do, and my book can give you clues to that. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but the 5 Dharma Types book can sort of help you pick up on those clues that the universe leaves, right? Mm-hmm. Earlier I said the universe leaves clues. It's up to us to sort of read them.
Yes,
and
we need to decipher them.
Right.
And decipher them, exactly, for our own benefit and the benefit of our families. So the better you become at that, the more you study yourself in these ancient systems, the more, the more lucky, I guess, you become.
Well, we're going to continue this conversation because we want to get luckier and luckier. We want everybody in our audience to get luckier and luckier. So stay tuned, everybody. We're going to take a very short commercial break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Supernatural Girls Radio.
Listening to IRN, the Inception Radio Network, Chicago, Illinois.
Hi, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Just a reminder that Inception Radio Network is on Twitter. Follow us at I_R_N and keep up to date about who's on tonight, what interviews they'll be doing, who's guest spotting, what topics they'll be covering. Tweet to us, tweet about us, retweet topics to your friends, and most importantly, never miss a great show again. That's I_R_N.
Have a computer? Is your internet connection down? Don't worry. Use your trusty cell phone or landline and call into our listen line at 401-283-6700 to listen to the Inception Radio Network 24/7. Again, that call-in number is 401-283-6700. For the Inception Radio Network, I am MJ.
Do you want more out of life? CreativeStrength.us can help you turn your dreams into a reality. Do you suffer from common health issues or stress? Are you sick of living day after day in pain and anxiety? Have you tried traditional methods but see no results? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then the 15-day Scalar Energy Healing free trial is perfect for you. When you sign up for the Scalar Energy free trial, you'll get 3 free treatments: a pathogenic cleanse, nutrient therapy, and chakra balance for every day of the 15-day trial. Go to CreativeStrength.us to learn more about this free trial and sign up. There is no credit card required, only your willingness to improve your life. Anyone, anywhere in the world can register for this free trial of Scalar Energy treatments. Healing energy is all around us, and now CreativeStrength.us has a way to help you harness it to improve your daily life. Only a picture of yourself is needed to be treated with Scalar Energy. Simply email your photo and enjoy the Scalar Energy treatments. You can experience the miraculous, life-changing powers of Scalar Energy Healing from the comfort of your own home. Visit CreativeStrength.us. Change your life for the better, effortlessly. Go to CreativeStrength.us today.
Hello, Inception Radio Network. Would you like your favorite show to be played again live on air? Well, now the choice is in your hands with IRN's live...
You're Paul. I'm the new Sprintern.
Sprint plus...
Intern. Yeah, clever, right? Looking at getting an amazing iPhone 8?
Yeah, because...
Now you can lease one iPhone 8, get the other one on Sprint to give your second phone to your new friend.
And you get the best price for unlimited.
And now lease one iPhone 8 and get a second one on us. Visit your local Sprint store, sprint.com/iPhone, or call 1-800-SPRINT1 today.
iPhone 8 64 gigabyte $29.17 a month. Second iPhone 8 after $29.17 a month. Credit applied within 2 bills. Requires 2 new lines or 1 new and 1 upgrade with 18-month leases. Early termination results in full balance due. Excludes tax subject to credit and third activation restrictions apply.
Request portal, an easy way to request your favorite show with a simple click. IRN's live request portal now gives you exclusive access to all the shows. How easy is it? Simply type a show name or a guest name, click request, even write a dedication message, and that's it. Try it now. Simply visit InceptionRadioNetwork.com, click on the live request tab under the show menu. Now playing your favorite show is just a mouse click away.
Are you a fan of Inception Radio Network? Do you reckon it's the best alternative talk radio station on the planet? Well, if you do, head to facebook.com/Inception Radio Network and like the page. Tell your friends, spread the word, and keep listening to the best.
Are you ready for a new experience of freedom and powerful connection? Would you like a positive, effortless change in your life? Then come to CosmicFusion.com, where we offer the most advanced energy clearing and expansion techniques in the world, with a quantum vortex energy to activate your divine blueprint and life's purpose. When your soul leads the way with cosmic fusion and quantum vortex energy, you can break clear of past difficulties and blocks with the power of the source. With cosmic fusion, the source energy does the work for you. It's easy and effortless. Listen to our free meditation right from our Cosmic Fusion website, the Cosmic Code Meditation. Sign up for one of our interactive webinars today. Come to Cosmic Fusion, www.KOSMICfusion.com, to experience an effortless awakening and transformation. Are you ready for an upgrade? Are you ready for a new experience of living in the fifth dimensional magic and powerful connection? Then visit CosmicFusion.com today. CosmicFusion.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker. I am here with my co-host from Tucson, PK, and our guest, Simon from Phoenix, Arizona. And we are learning how to be luckier and luckier, how to follow our true path. Now, that's a big question. But as you said, if you follow your Dharma, you eliminate karma. Is that the phrasing? How does that go?
Yeah. Dharma erases karma. And the more we live a dharmic life, meaning living our purpose in alignment with what we're supposed to do, the less karma affects us.
Well, so you find your Dharma by, first of all, understanding which one you fit into the 5 types, right? So that's a good starting point. And again, people can find that in your book, The 5 Types of Dharma. They can also find the test on your website, which is spirittypes.com. And so that's the beginning. But how do you find the rest of it out? I mean, these are kind of general headings. So how do you get to the rest of your path?
So Dharma means natural law. So gravity is Dharma because it's a natural law of nature. And abiding by it means not jumping off cliffs, right? Or not jumping out of an airplane without a parachute. That's, understanding that law of gravity. Dharma is pulling over to help someone on the side of the road. Dharma is taking care of your parents when they can't take care of themselves. Dharma is taking care of your kids when they can't take care of themselves. It's a very broad thing, but we call it doing the right thing. And doing the right thing doesn't earn you a salary or money. No one, is going to pay you for that, for taking care of your elderly parents. But it does earn you points in heaven, if you will. And along with all of those things comes following the natural law of your being and fulfilling your purpose on this planet. So while we were off the air, we were discussing, you asked me if I consult gamblers, right, who, and give them picks and stuff like that. And I told you that I tried that a while back, and it was disastrous because it's just not my Dharma to practice something just for money. Like for me, it's an educational thing. I'm supposed to teach and study new techniques and then teach them to others and let them, do what they will with them. And I learned that the hard way because we actually lost money. And I said, I'll never do this again. And then when I went back to doing it for myself, I started winning again.
Isn't that interesting?
So Dharma is knowing what's right for you.
Mm-hmm. That's a hard one many times.
It is. And I remember we had Lon Duquette on the show, as an occult master, and he was talking about magic and how you shouldn't do magic for other people. You do it for yourself. And he's shared a similar situation where he did magic for other people, and it turned out to be disastrous. So he didn't recommend that. You know, just like you're saying, you do this, you employ your own method, and you gamble, and you win, and it all works out fine because that's a part of your path. But Lon was saying the same thing with magic.
Let me interject something. So he's in this. This may blow your mind, or it may not. But he's probably the same Dharma type as I am, because we're this certain type that we're not supposed to necessarily do it for others, but we're supposed to teach others how to do it. But there is another type, the merchant Dharma type. They are the brokers, the networkers, the go-betweens, who are allowed to do this stuff for others. They are the ones who do the rituals, and they're supposed to benefit and profit from it. So that's what I mean. When you know your Dharma type, it's like knowing your gender, if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't solve all your problems, but it certainly solves a lot of simple things like should I wear a dress or not today? Or, which bathroom should I walk into? Mm-hmm. There are a lot of issues that become very simple once you know your Dharma type. And like this magic master, it sounds like he's probably similar to my type. But there are others I would put forth to you that are allowed to do rituals for people. You just have to find that Dharma type.
Yeah, so if you want somebody to do that, that's got to be on that merchant path, and that's all part of it. This is fascinating because we see people on the highway and they're driving through the easy pass. They're just go right through, and then some of us, we get stuck at the toll booth. We're just not going any further. And we're paying that toll over and over again.
Waiting at the train track, and it keeps coming down.
Yeah, exactly. And so, so this is giving us a lot of insight, Simon, as to what the problem may be. If we want to get into the easy pass lane, then we need to find our true Dharma and follow that path. So this is all good. This is all very helpful.
Well, and this also has to do with timing, because one of the keys, as I mentioned earlier about the Vedic tradition, is that it gives you certain remedies. So knowing the right time. So depending on when you left your house that day, you are either going to be set up to have obstacles and, toll booths, or you're going to be set up to catch all the green lights. And a friend of mine, I have a story about this. Is actually a true story. We were studying with a guru or teacher. This was a while back. And one of the students asked the guru, he said, "Guruji, can you tell me the right time to buy a lottery ticket?" And the guru looked at him and he said, "It's not part of your Dharma to win the lottery. It's not part of your life pattern." And he said, "I know, Guruji, but it doesn't matter. I have such faith in your abilities that I know if you tell me the right time that I will win." So the guru said, "All right, here." And he wrote down a time and a date for him, 12:30 on Wednesday, 3 weeks from now. So this guy was in seventh heaven, right? The whole time he's like, oh yeah, yes, I'm set. He, where he lived, he plotted the store, how long it would take him to get to the store where they sold the tickets. Like he had it all planned out. Wow. So the day arrives. It's 12 o'clock. He gets in his car, drives to the store. The store is closed. For whatever reason.
No.
no. He's and he's like, oh my God, what do I do? He checks his phone. Where's the nearest store? Okay, gets in his car, rushes over, buys the ticket, and it's a minute late. It's a minute past the time that he was supposed to do it, and he doesn't win anything. So the point was, when the guru told him it's not in your karmic pattern to win, he was telling him the truth. It's just sort of not meant to be. And yet, if he had played at that time, he could have overcome his karmic pattern. But so it's a chicken or the egg. Like, was it because he was fated not to win that store closed and he couldn't get there on time? It's
I would assume thing, that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you assume that be the case?
That's my take on it.
Yeah,
I think so too.
That's fascinating.
But picking the right time to start something or even to buy your lottery ticket is a good thing. So for those of your listeners who are out there who want to improve their chances of winning, try buying the ticket the moment that Jupiter is rising on the eastern horizon. Now,
okay, when's that going to be?
When's that going to be?
We want to know.
I'll give you, there's a website called timeanddate.com.
Oh, there's a website. Of course there is.
Now, this is an awesome website, by the way. It gives you time zones, calendar, weather. Yeah. It's got all that stuff. But one of the things that it gives you is the rising and the setting time for each of the planets. So when you go in there, there's, or you can just Google rising time for Jupiter and then put your city, Baltimore or Washington, D.C. And Google will give you, the relevant sites. So there are websites that will show you the exact time each day that Jupiter rises. So Jupiter rises once a day, and it sets once a day. Like today, for example, it was 12:10 in Phoenix, Arizona. So if you know that time, you can also use Venus rising. So either Venus or Jupiter. And try it a few with each of them, because for some people Venus will be luckier, for some people Jupiter will be luckier. But this is one way to potentially increase your odds of winning, is to buy that ticket at exactly that time, that Jupiter or Venus is rising. And avoid the times when Saturn is rising.
How about that? I am going to try this out. How about you, PK?
All right.
I'm making notes right here. I'm writing down something tomorrow.
I bet everybody out there is
taking your homework assignment for 1 month.
Okay.
We're going to do
how
that.
it goes.
We're going to report back. Be a part of your new book. And anybody else out there, let us know what happens.
Yeah.
So what else can you tell us about having auspicious time? Is it always about Jupiter and Venus and their rising?
No,
is that like
not.
So there's other planets to look.
Well, Jupiter and Venus are typically the luckiest, but this is a simple thing anyone can do, even without having your horoscope. But the best thing is to actually have your chart. But another thing is the eclipse cycles. So people who have Leo prominent in their charts, I mean both Eastern Leo and Western Leo, because this eclipse is happening, this one coming up on August 21st.
21st, yes.
It is happening at 2 degrees Leo in the sidereal Vedic zodiac, and it's happening at 26 degrees Leo of the Western. So it's both of them are Leo. So anyone who has prominent placements in Leo stands to experience reversals in their life. By the way, President Trump is a Leo in the Vedic, actually I think in both traditions. And so that eclipse is going to be quite eventful for him. I mean, his whole presidency has been eventful, obviously. But to get a taste of what that might be like, go back to February, mid-February, because there were eclipses that happened then that will sort of be mirrored by the August 21st eclipse. But a lot of people, when certain planets in their horoscope transit those eclipse points, they get dramatic reversal in their life, something like a lottery win. But for that, you have to look in the actual individual horoscope, and that's why it's hard to give out general rules about it.
Okay, so you're saying that this eclipse can be very positive in creating sudden wealth.
So the point that the eclipse happens. So, for example, I'm going to use the Vedic sidereal zodiac, 2 degrees Leo. So that eclipse is going to happen at 2 degrees Leo. When one of your important planets transits that point at 2 degrees Leo, or when the moon transits that point, it can produce a dramatic reversal in your life, all other factors being equal, meaning it's a little bit difficult to kind of explain this, but because that eclipse point is a sensitive point basically for the next 3 to 6 months. And if it happens to fall in the money house for you, and if it happens to activate certain money planets for you, when that point is activated by a transit, boom, you get money. Okay. But if that point falls in a negative place for you and it's activated, boom, you get accident or you get some, negative outcome. So it all depends where it sits in your chart.
So again, all of this is personal information that people can get from you in a private session. And also, Tricia, if you're still listening, Simon off the air did offer to give you some, basically some very auspicious times for you when you mentioned you were looking to conceive. So if you're still listening, if you type in the chat room your birth date, time, and place, Simon will look up those things, those dates for you. If you're still with us, go ahead.
We can do it off the air.
And we'll try to do it either on the air or off the air. But either way, he's offering to give you a hand, which is very generous, Simon. Thank you.
Most definitely.
I'm sure Tricia appreciates it. So we'll see if he writes back in. Now, the other thing I just wanted to mention, a little off topic, but not really, because it is helpful to people's lives. You have a very special herbal formula.
Right.
That you were kind enough to send to me. And I sent it on to my nephew who has rosacea. And he had tried everything to get rid of this. It's a very uncomfortable type of a thing to have right on your face. And it makes your cheeks extremely rosy. It creates other problems with blood vessels. And nothing worked that he tried. Nothing. So I sent him your herbal remedy, and guess what? He calls me up. Now, that's rare in and of itself. He's 22. He never makes a phone call, right? He called me up. He said, I'm Patricia. I got to tell you, this works. Nothing else has worked, but this is working. So I wanted to thank you on the air, Simon, for that, because I know how difficult it can be when you have a skin condition like that. And you really want to address. I mean, it's something people see every day on your face, and your herbal remedy was bringing things back into balance. Obviously, you talk about, I think, a liver detoxification from this and other things that this remedy is doing. It's really a brilliant remedy. So people need to know about that as well. And in case there is someone in their lives that could benefit from that. And they can order that right from you on your website, right?
Yeah, thank you, first of all, for saying that. And I did start to make it for family members and who had acne and some family members who had herpes outbreaks. So, but then my students started taking it, and I had students with rosacea who had the same or very similar outcome, and they said, wow, we love this stuff. And so I actually made it into a product, and it's called Herbal Helper, kind of a goofy title, but I didn't want to make it like herpes medicine or, zit be gone.
You lose them right away.
It's hard to have that, in your bathroom, especially when people come over and they go, oh, what's going on here?
Oh, God.
So I called it Herbal Helper, and it helps with those kinds of skin outbreaks related to rosacea, acne, or herpes or cold sores. So, it is on my site. It's I don't advertise it. It's just basically from my own students. I only have about a few hundred bottles that get shipped out by a distributor. And it's called Herbal Helper. It's on my site, spirittype.com, and they can certainly try to have a money-back guarantee. So if for any reason it doesn't work for them, they can just send it back. And
well, it's a great herbal concoction. Yeah, that's for sure. And you also have some wonderful podcasts on YouTube. And one that PK and I watched is about embracing your goddess energy, which is a wonderful expression of self-love for women. And I think for men too, because we all have both male and female energies. But you said you have a Marilyn Monroe story that I loved. And I was wondering if you would share that on the air.
Well, tell me the story. Remind me.
Well, it's about how Marilyn had expected love from the people in her professional life. She was magnificently loved by all of these people. Personal life is another story, but she had embraced her own ability to receive this love from so many people. And I thought it was a good example of what you were trying to tell all of us about accepting love and being able to do that, as she was. I mean, she was a phenomenon and still is to this day, even though she's dead. The people just loved her. So tell us more about that and how she did it and how we can do it.
It's about going back to the 7-year-old you that is on the seesaw playing and having fun. It comes in and says, Mom, will you comb my hair? There's no delay of, do I deserve, to be taken care of? Do I deserve to be loved? Have I, served enough today? Have I become worthy? No, it's just a sense of, because I am femininity embodied, because I am who I am value, I am worth, and I attract love. It's not even an affirmation, it's just an acknowledgement of reality. So going back to that 7-year-old you that just knows that, or maybe 5-year-old you or 15-year-old, well, probably not 15 because now you're a teenager and
you know everything.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Usually by then the world has started crushing us underfoot, right? But going back to that sense of, just by virtue of of being an embodiment of nature, you can create life. That is valuable. And that's why, from beer to sports, if you want to sell something, you put beautiful women to sell it, or sometimes babies, but it's not it's the feminine principle itself is the value, and Marilyn Monroe owned it, at least on screen. And that's one of the tips. And to create that value, to get in touch with it, I give 7 tips on that YouTube video. One of them is just to create sacred space in your life, meaning for an hour a day, carve that hour out and go into the bath and have a nice relaxing soak. And that sends a signal to the world that says, hey, I'm valuable, I'm worth it. If you need me, you can get back to me later. Turn off the phone, right? And then your husband, your kids, your boss, whoever it is, suddenly begins to go, oh, right, that's her private time. And they begin to honor that in you, right? They give you, but you have to ask, you have to claim it. The world is not going to give it to you unless you claim it. And
that's a very powerful statement.
I'm worth it.
Yes, the world is not going to give it to you unless you claim it. Very important for people to understand, and especially in this whole broadcast tonight, which is about luck and changing your luck if you want things to be better for yourself. So yeah, you have to claim it.
True.
And it's like the guy with the lottery. It's not that he was hoping, wishing maybe he could win. It was like, no, I have to play. This is something I have to do. I know this is what I have to do. And when you live your life with that standpoint, you can't help but succeed. So claiming your worth is one of them, and carving out space in your day, also carving out space in your home. So if your home is extremely cluttered, that creates clutter in your mind and ultimately in your aura. So there are a lot of gurus and best-selling books out there now making, if you want to win the lottery, write a book about clutter these days.
I represent that.
Yeah.
Right? And they're right, and they should be making that money because it's a simple concept. When you clear the clutter from your home, you give yourself space, especially the center of the home. So the Vedic tradition has something called Vastu, and Vastu is like feng shui. It's how to take care of the temple that is your home, because our bodies are the temples of our souls, but our homes are the temples of our bodies. It's where our bodies live and sleep. So we need to do this in this, take care of that.
Yeah, in a sacred manner, and like you said, claim that space and get rid of the clutter, because that helps a lot. So, well, unfortunately, Simon, we're at the end of the show. This has been so much fun having you here. A real honor for us, and we've enjoyed every minute of it. So we hope our audience is now much luckier, much more prosperous, much more in love with their lives and their choices, because we want our audience to have the best. So, Simon, we're going to have you come back. There's so much more to talk about here.
Definitely.
Yes.
Well, my pleasure. Let's take 30 days, test out the Jupiter stuff, and if we have some winners, we can reconvene after that and see how it went.
Sounds great.
Thanks again. We will do it. We're going to do it. Okay, everybody. Right. Next week, we've got another great show lined up, and I believe we are talking about the War of the Anunnakis and how it affects us even today. But until then, we'll see you on the Blue Highway, everybody. Good night.
Good night.